1984, the pick that could have changed everything. In the 1984 NBA Draft, perhaps the most stacked in league history, the Indiana Pacers had the second overall pick. They could have had Michael Jordan. But a year earlier, in what seemed like a minor trade at the time, Indiana sent that pick to Portland for aging center Tom Owens, a player who would never play a minute for the Pacers. What happened next? Portland took Sam Bowie, Chicago picked third and got Michael Jordan. Let that sink in. While MJ became 6 times NBA champion, 5 times MVP global icon, and league-transforming megastar, Indiana got nothing. Not Jordan, not Bowie, not even Owens. They missed their shot at basketball immortality before the 80s even got going. 1990s, Reggie's rise in the age of heartbreak. Reggie Miller became the face of Indiana basketball. Clutch, confident, cold-blooded, but fate always found a way to win. 1994 ECF versus Knicks. Game 5, Reggie drops 25 points in the fourth at Madison Square Garden. Silences Spike Lee, does the choke sign, but Indiana loses Game 6 at home. Then Game 7 in New York. 1995 ECF Game 7 versus Magic win from the finals, but Nick Anderson buries a 3, Penny and Shaq close the door. Another heartbreak, another miss. 1998. The Jordan roadblock Indiana pushed Jordan's Bulls to Game 7 in the 1998 Eastern Conference Finals. They led in the fourth quarter. They were right there. But then Kukoc hits a dagger 3. Reggie misses a clean look, and Jordan, always Jordan, closes it. It was the closest anyone came to ending the Bulls dynasty. Indiana almost rewrote history, but almost doesn't hang banners. 2000 NBA Finals. Kobe's coming of age. The Pacers finally broke through. Reggie, Jalen, Rick Smits. They reach the NBA Finals and face the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Game 4 goes to overtime. Shaq fouls out. Opportunity knocks. Then 21-year-old Kobe Bryant walks through it. 2 cold-blooded jumpers. Pacers never recover. They lose in 6. The window closed before it ever really opened. 2004 to 2005. Pistons brawls and goodbyes. 2004 ECF. Best record, worst finish. Indiana wins 61 games, best in the league. Game 6 versus Detroit. Tayshaun Prince blocks Reggie's layup. Pacers lose a 69-65 slugfest. No finals, no closure. 2005, Reggie's final game. Rasheed banks in a wild 3. Reggie's last shot falls short. No ring, no storybook ending. 2011, the Kawhi mistake draft night. Indiana selects Kawhi Leonard, a long, athletic defender from San Diego State, then trades him for George Hill. At the time, it made sense, but then Kawhi became 2 times NBA champion, 2 times Finals MVP, 2 times Defensive Player of the Year, a top-tier, two-way player in Indiana. They watched him build dynasties first in San Antonio, then in Toronto. 2013 to 2014, Paul George versus LeBron. The Paul George era gave Indiana fresh hope. He was dynamic, electric, almost a LeBron stopper. 2013 ECF Game 1 PG hits a game-tying 3 to force OT. Then LeBron hits a buzzer-beating layup. 2014 ECF Game 6, Lance Stevenson blows in LeBron's ear. Pacers blow the series. The Big 3 Heat escape. Indiana falls again. 2017, the Paul George trade. In 2017, Paul George asked out. Indiana traded him to OKC for Victor Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis. At first, it looked like a win. Oladipo became an all-star. Sabonis became a double-double machine. But injuries derailed it all. Indiana fell back to mediocrity. And that trade, it was only the beginning. 2019, the trade that changed the NBA 2 years later. OKC flipped Paul George to the Clippers for Shai Gilgeous, Alexander Danilo Gallinari. 5 first-round picks, 2 pick swaps. It looked like a rebuild. Instead, it became a revolution. By 2025, Shai had become a top 5 MVP candidate. Those picks turned into stars like Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams. Oklahoma City became deep, young, fearless, and finals-bound. 2018, LeBron's last laugh, again, first round versus Cleveland. Indiana pushes LeBron's Cavs to Game 7. Oladipo's go-ahead layup is blocked by LeBron, controversial, possibly a goaltend. Seconds later, LeBron hits a step-back 3. Earlier in the series, he hit a Game 5 buzzer beater. Another series that slipped through Indiana's fingers. Another chapter in the book of heartbreak. 2024. the Halliburton heartbreak. The Pacers have a new face, Tyrese Halliburton. Slick passer, born leader, all NBA potential. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 3 versus Boston. Pacers up 18 at home. Jaylen Brown steals, hits a three, Halliburton goes down. Injured Pacers get swept. Even when things go right, fate finds a way to break them. Full circle. The 2025 NBA Finals. Pacers versus Thunder. And now it all comes full circle. In the 2025 NBA Finals, the Indiana Pacers face the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yes, the Thunder, a team rebuilt by the Paul George trade. A chain reaction that started when Indiana let go of their superstar, only to watch OKC turn that move into 2025 MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, defensive anchor Jalen Williams, rising star, a deep, fearless roster with championship DNA. And who do they face? The team that made it all possible, Indiana. It's poetic, it's painful, and it's the perfect symbol of the Pacers story. A team that didn't just fall short of greatness, they often handed it to someone else. Why Indiana still believes. Despite it all, Pacers fans still show up because this team doesn't tank. They draft smart, develop talent, and compete every year. They stand for blue-collar basketball in the heart of hoop country, and now with Halliburton, Mathurin, and a rising core, they're finally back where they've always dreamed of being. But to finish the story, they'll have to beat the team that only exists because of them. A legacy defined by almost. 4 decades of heartbreak. 4 decades of almost. Almost Jordan. Almost Kobe. Almost finals. Almost Kawhi. Almost champions. And now finally here in the 2025 Finals. The Pacers versus the Thunder. The past versus the future. The origin versus the outcome. Can Indiana rewrite history, or will they once again watch someone else hold the trophy?